Good evening. So this will be reflection number 2, my itinerary trip for my museum, or excuse me, my museum trip and itinerary, and my discussion of the 7 elements that we went over in this nice little sheet, which I will send you a picture of, and the room that I'm sitting in. Please let me know if the videos are acceptable. I know it says something about media. I'm not too computer savvy with all this, so if the video reflections work, that's awesome, because for one, it's easier for me and it's more real time and it helps me practice and utilize the speech class I just took. So we'll get after that. All right, part 1. So I will be going to the San Angelo Museum of Fine Arts. I'll be visiting Monday, August 31st, and I'll be looking at a picture titled Mesa with a Green Sky, painted in 1981 by Lloyd Blanks. So that'll be interesting. I saw a preview picture of it on their website. It was very geometric shape drawn out. It was not like my last one I'd say is very real, just literally a couple of shapes. Like I probably could have drawn that on this, so with a ruler. But it's very, I think the perception of sitting in them, different angles and everything will be pretty interesting. So there's that. All right. Again, I will send you a picture of this with the link to this video as well. Well, I guess you would have the video by now. All right, so part 3. So the room I'm currently in is my kitchen and dining room together. Going over the elements that we had, so starting with the lines, the lines on the cabinets, the ceiling and the walls and the floor, the molding around all the trim, those stick out. They come off the wall about 1/2 inch. I'm actually pretty into carpentry, so that, lines are a good thing, especially straight lines. So those stick out. Being kind of a math person as well, the definition of a line is any space between 2 points. So really, a line can have you get an infinite number of lines on really one line, depending what your points are. So I always think that's cool with like lines, and math to me is one of those things that makes sense if you apply it in the right way. So talking about lines, I enjoy those. I do not enjoy, however, plotting and graphing lines, but that's another discussion. Shapes, being a home, and it's, how it's built, it's very geometric, square shapes. However, there are some cracks in the walls. It is an older house. It was built in the early 70s, I believe. So, there's cracks in the walls that give it this weird shapes, so I probably should actually patch those. But again, I think the majority of the shapes in this room are geometric. Looking right now, the lights and the fire detector, smoke alarm, they're circular, cabinets, square, rectangular, microwave, stove, refrigerator, rectangular, 3D shapes. We talked about value, that shading exercise right now. The only real values that I'm seeing, maybe the depth of like the counters that go in, and maybe the shadows off the wall give that a different perception of how deep they actually are. The colors, actually, is a pretty bland house. If you were to think of this awkward color behind me, I don't even know what color that is, 70s yellow. It's kind of ugly with white trim. I think it could be totally repainted. I'm renting, so I can't do too much. But the way the sun is reflecting in here through yellow curtains, again, not my color scheme, it kind of makes it darker, like the shadowy part in the corner. Actually, that's kind of a nice yellow at that point. But the colors, again, very bland, whites, brown, and yellow. So very 70s. It's a minus. I don't have shag carpet, so that's cool. Textures, so speaking of carpets, I have no carpets. I do have nice hardwood floors. I do believe they're actually laminate, so it's kind of cheating. But, nice smooth texture, but you have the grain of the wood. Into the kitchen, you have a tiled floor, and that's another texture, so you have the smooth wood, and then you know, again, the textured tile, so there's a little bit, you know, grip, and just changes the area of the house. So it kind of is the dividing line of where the kitchen and dining room separate. Space, I mean, I really don't know the square footage, but it is a very simple rectangular, you know, cubed room. I wish the space was bigger, but you know, a college student, so. Let's see, I kind of hit more on space. So I think this assignment, talking about sitting and talking about a room, I think is a little bit tougher when we're talking about elements of art. So I do find this tough only because I do enjoy carpentry. I'm not much into artistic stuff, but I do like how some of it correlates together, and how carpenters are kind of artists and can use and create different spaces throughout homes. I'm still kind of struggling with the space element, but other than how to utilize it, again, it's just a square. There's no protruding walls that come out. Why lie? There's about a foot protruding wall that comes off of this wall. This wall would be the front of the house. There's a space that comes out over the microwave. I'm only assuming it's for the vent, and then the cabinets protrude off the wall. So and then I do have a peninsula countertop, so that does kind of stick out and take up space in the kitchen. Form, maybe that's more form because it is three. I mean, I guess everything in this room is three-dimensional, but for the form, I guess like the ceilings are supposed to, you know, they're flat, smooth, but you know, they have the vents that come down, I have a ceiling fan that comes down, and then the lights, and again, the smoke detector. Let's see. Okay, so the last part of the question, I kind of hit on it a little bit. So this is my first college level art course so far. You know, week 2, it's not too bad. Finally just got my electronic textbook in the mail, however, so that's been kind of tough. But the describing it for the paintings and how understanding it. So I mean, honestly, this, I know it looks honestly kind of like a, probably do this in like first grade type of thing, but the idea that there are elements to art and more than just paint to a canvas it's actually kind of neat to break it a little. I mean, I'm assuming at your level, you know, this is elementary, so, but to have a start with the 7 main elements and like the building blocks, so to speak, so you know, you got to start with the basics. That is pretty interesting. So it does open it up a little bit more to just a pencil on paper, or again, paint on canvas. So it's pretty interesting. So that's my reflection 2, week 2, and looking forward to week 3. Thank you.